Hi everybody. I want to talk about a new tactic, not necessarily new, but it's kind of sort of a humorous term that I've associated with it, in handling a narcissist. So throughout much of the materials available on how to handle and deal with a narcissist, you'll see a repetitive theme to go no contact. Always go no contact. It's the most effective method. It's the only tried, true, and effective method. Cut them out of your life, move on. Or go gray rock if you can't get rid of them, which is just be uninteresting and stay off the radar. They're going to try and pull you into a fight, and you just sort of just give them nonchalant answers like, oh, okay, do what you feel is best. If that's how you feel, by all means, do what you feel you should do. You know, if that's how you feel, that's what you need to do, right? Sometimes they don't want to let it go. Sometimes they want to try and get a rise out of you, because, well, not sometimes, like all the time. They try to break down that gray rock defense. And so how do you more aggressively gray rock? Well, you throw the gray rock, which means you don't attack back. What you want to do is make a statement that appeals to both their true self and false self, that sends them in a direction that says, oh, okay, like it strokes their ego, while at the same time they realize that they really shouldn't do it again. So you want to say something that they'll internalize as them doing. They're gonna think, oh wow, I'm doing stuff that actually could potentially someday look bad, but not. I don't necessarily look bad doing it right now, but I should probably be careful about that. So here's a good example of throwing the gray rock. Let's say I just recently did a series of co-parenting, and one of the themes that I repeated over and over is to wear you're the ex, you're the pitiful, disgusting, weak loser ex that turns their stomach, that they can't stand, blah blah blah, but they don't stop talking to you. And my suggestion in those videos, in that playlist, is to say something like, wow, okay, you just picked up your children, and already it hasn't even been several hours and you're already texting your ex. Like, did you know, I don't understand why, you know, I don't understand, do you not have plans? And vice versa. Like, in my situation, when I pick up my son, I usually receive some sort of messages right before I pick him up and soon after I drop him off. So when I have him on the weekends, I used to get all these nasty messages, like at all hours of the weekend. You know, Friday night, Saturday night. Because what it was is she was wanting to throw off my evening with my family. And so my wife actually came up with this. She's brilliant. And that was, you know, it's Friday night. Why are you messaging your ex on a Friday night? Like, this is your first Friday in several weeks to not have any, you know, not worry about any children. This is like your first Friday to be free in a while. You know, don't you have plans? Get a life. Don't be pathetic, right? Now that's an example of throwing a gray rock, and that's pretty aggressive. But yeah, she kind of got pissed off, but you know what she doesn't do now? She doesn't message on a Friday night anymore, because she also realizes, like, oh shit, that does actually look pathetic if I'm messaging my ex-husband on a Friday night. So I'll make a mental note to message him on not a Friday night. And so that's whenever the timing shifted to immediately before I pick him up and pretty soon after I drop him off. Which I also threw gray rocks at that too. when she would pick him up. And then Hayden says this, Hayden says that, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, okay, why? It's like, okay, I see that it hasn't even been an hour since you picked him up, and already you've pumped up enough information to justify talking to your ex-husband. I guess I don't understand why you feel the need to talk to your ex-husband, especially when you haven't seen your son for days, and instead of spending time with him, instead you're choosing to spend your time bitching at your ex-husband, who really isn't accountable to you for anything. I guess it doesn't bother me. I just think it's weird that right now your priority is to yell and scream at me instead of spending time with him. You know, that doesn't make sense to me. You know, very clearly your priorities are to fight with me instead of, you know, helping him with homework. So that's another good example of throwing the gray rock. So how does this work? It works by simultaneously appealing to something that will make their false image look better by recognizing that it looks pathetic and being done in such a way that it stops the behavior. So it works. It hits their true self, because with their self-esteem, they're like, yeah, I really am pathetic. Like, you know, shit. You know, that's why I go to great lengths to hide that. It's like, shit. What it does is it makes them recognize and panic that, oh shit, I've shown my true colors. I've shown my true self here. That I really am that pathetic that I message on a Friday night, and that I put arguments in front of my son. I've revealed that about myself, that I really am that pathetic. And so then what do they do with the false self? And you always want to try to appeal to it. Like, it's like, I don't understand, you know, like for example, if, you know, whenever she has them, it's like, I don't understand why you two aren't playing video games together, considering that, you know, you two have a great relationship in that regard. You know, you haven't seen them in several days, and I know you guys connect a lot on video games. Y'all are always playing video games together. You know, I don't understand why the priority right now is to try and pick a fight with me. You should be spending time with him. That doesn't send a positive message to him. All that's gonna do is tell him that your first priority is to get all the goods about Dad's house, and then try to start a fight. You know, so it's sort of a two-way attack, a double-edged strategy. Make them recognize that they've revealed their true colors in a manner that helps prop up their false self, and what it will do is it will evoke a change in them where they'll stop doing the problem behavior because they've recognized that that's an exposure of the true self. They won't do it anymore. But what they'll start doing in lieu of that is a behavior that they feel is propping up and supporting their false image. So what she'll do then, and what she does now, she still interrogates the hell out of them, but then she does it over an activity that they enjoy. So now they sit down, they play video games, and while they're sitting there playing, she asks him all the questions then, and then she's careful about her timing before she says anything too condescending or vitriolic. And usually in that waiting period, things have calmed down a little bit. You know, everybody's different, I guess, but the strategy seems to work. But again, I think it's a pretty good third option that kind of sort of gives you a way of fighting back in a manner that doesn't really, I don't know. It's kind of difficult for them to, usually whenever you fight back, they completely deflect. They deflect, they blame you, etc. But you want to really go for those true self things, because they'll still deflect. They'll still say that they're not doing something wrong. They'll still defend. But you know that your shot landed exactly where it needed to land when they don't do it again. So, throw the gray rock. And it works. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, or share. Let me know your thoughts, because I know this isn't really necessarily like a legitimate textbook coping strategy or coping mechanism, but it does seem to have some merit and some element of truth. And I really, really wanted to know what you guys think about it. So do please comment. I'd like to start a discussion and see what people think. So thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you on another video.